Excuse me, 9, Plutarch.
You promised me an army, Archibald.
Well, think of the money you'll save. Mercenaries are very cheap these days. With a respawn machine on every front line, there will be no worry. You'll surely win this war by the end of the financial year.
And allow a respawn gap.
The respawn gap? You must be joking. Plutarch, I really must be going now. Listen, would you be interested in a new heart, liver, or spleen? We have about 800,000 corpses on site, and we're not really sure what to do with them.
Oh, I'll take one of each.
I see. I'll put it on the bill. Ta-ta, Plutarch. Redmond, Jules Archibald, I have a proposition for you.
Emesis Blue. I'm not really sure what I can add to the conversation that hasn't been said already about it. It has solidated itself as the peak of TF2 and SFM fan creation. Not just a great love letter to TF2 in general, it has ascended to being just a really good movie by itself. Definitely better than a lot of the new crap that's been coming out lately. And for some reason, if you haven't seen it yet, here, I'll just show it to you really quick. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get into it. The murder of one Mrs. Williams and the kidnapping of her son, Jeremy Williams. An entire red base burning to the ground. The kidnapping and eventual murder of Jules Archibald at the hands of the mad doctor Fritz Ludwig, both of whom were told to have died in that fateful night. However, 2 weeks later, the presumed Dr. Fritz pops out of Jules Archibald's coffin and caps not only your partner, half a dozen police officers and bodyguards, but has also fled the scene never to be seen again. And on top of that, multiple eyewitnesses saying and claiming to see you aiding Fritz in his escape. So, want to tell me what really happened that night, brother?
I know it's late, but mind if I ask you something? Do you ever have bad dreams?
So, I think it's safe to say that we all know the classic story of Emesis Blue. Or, well, we can all try to understand it to the best of our abilities, because it gets a little cray-cray, I'm not gonna lie. Between its jumping of multiple main characters and its way of cutting scenes into chapters, which is something that my other favorite movie ever, The Hateful Eight, did.
Son of a bitch to hell. You killed OB? He's worth 10 of you. Ward, can I kill him?
Say adios to your huevos.
And it's something I've clearly taken great inspiration from in my current series. So yeah, I love this form of storytelling. I find it engaging, interesting, and it helps break up the pace in a very satisfying way. Now, for the actual story, while it is very confusing and it does get into psychological horror elements, I believe that a very underrated theme throughout the movie is the sort of homage to detective and noir movies.
That's my crime scene. I don't need
It's the
this
last
right now.
time we are federal agents. I am Detective Mannix. This is Lieutenant Colombo.
Anymore.
It won't hurt at all.
Sam, it already doesn't hurt at all.
Relax. Relax.
Is there any way I can be of help, Lieutenant?
I don't believe so, ma'am. Nice of you to offer. We think it's a whiplash.
As we follow along our three main protagonists, Corporal and Soldier, trying to figure out what happened to Jules Archibald and what exactly caused his kidnapping, or more accurately, find out what caused him to fake his kidnapping. Remember, he's a piece of shit on the run. While at the same time watching Fritz Ludwig try to figure out what happened to Jeremy and why the scout was kidnapped in the first place. All of these pieces coming together, and all of it for a reason that someone wanted all of these characters to meet at the slaughterhouse. Where from there, It just goes absolutely bananas with paranormal, mysteries, secrets being uncovered in absolutely time-bending ways. It's amazing. And I truly find our three main characters absolutely engaging. Soldier being my absolute favorite.
What are you, blind? Come on, right here. Take your best. You think I didn't come prepared?
How did you know he wouldn't shoot you in the head?
I didn't.
I know a few videos have covered like, oh, his deeper meaning and how he's just looking for a way to end it all secretly. I'm not gonna lie. I think yes, Soldier is troubled by the PTSD he suffered from the war. And also, yes, he is like unnerved by the secrets he discovered. However, I've personally always looked at Emesis Blue Soldier as someone who's not all there reality-wise, but very true with their morality and wanting to do what they think is right no matter what. I think that's highlighted best at the absolute end when he was going to take out Corporal. I think he was doing that because he didn't want him to get away with all the atrocities he had committed. He knows the skeletons Corporal has in his closet now, and he was going to make sure he paid for them. Same thing goes when he saw Blue Man just sitting in his car about to die. He knew that he had caused so much pain and suffering that he was like, oh, fuck this. I am not giving you the chance at walking away. Also, he's just Soldier. I mean, it's very hard not to just fall in love with Soldier. He's such a funny guy.
Must have been a fight or something. My God. It's his latest victim.
It's a model, you idiot.
Like, am I right, guys? I mean, it's just pretty clear he's like the best character. And I will admit, Fritz's journey through all of this is very engaging, entertaining, and absolutely makes you think and wonder, like, the own demons we have in our own systems. Like, do we have like an on and off switch of what is right, what is wrong, and what can really test and break those limits? Because in the beginning, we see that while he does have his moments of flashing rage, to see a man go from actually genuinely trying to help people to being someone who doesn't even care that he's gunning down police officers to escape, it is just tragic, but also very engaging and makes you think and wonder, like, could this happen to anyone? Could our demons really break us down and make us unrecognizable? Also, no matter what, he might be the plague doctor. However, as we see in the ending, I still firmly believe that he would never, no matter his state of mind, no matter what he calls himself, he would never kill Scout's mom or kidnap him and bring him to harm. He might be learning about it, and that's why he feels so much rage towards it near the end, but I don't think he would ever do that. And as for Corporal, it's kind of bizarre, actually. Like, think about it. In canon, in the real TF2 lore, Spy is Scout's dad. So, in a way, doesn't that mean that Spy went to his own kid's house, saw that his lover was dead, and didn't give two shits about it? I know in Emesis Blue they're all clones, different people, different personalities for each version, but still, it's kind of freaky to think about that. And that also brings up another question. Is Scout's mom Scout's mom? Is this the original Jeremy, or is this just a duplicate? Is this even really his mom, or is it just someone that's playing an actress? Like, when you really think about this opening, it makes you really wonder what is real, what isn't, who are these people? And you know, when you kind of think about it all together, it's kind of crazy how these two stories intertwine and intersect because of a similar reason and motive, to find someone that was taken from them. However, the difference being Jules left and faked his kidnapping, meaning that he has his own men on a wild goose chase, and Fritz actually having one of his closest friends taken and kidnapped from him. And it really is just sweet irony that Jules Archibald would not be in any type of danger if he didn't fake his kidnapping. If he had faced the music, it would have all worked out. But because he put on this elaborate thing and didn't tell any of his best men, they got really sick of his shit and put him down.
Have I? I've always been the one to save you, Archie. I did your dirty work and hid it from everyone, and look what it did to me. My God! Who is there to save me, Jules? You've never cared about anyone but yourself. Corporal, no! Please, for God's sake! Well, there's no one here to protect you now. But I've given you everything you wanted. And I'm giving you exactly what you deserve.
Literally died because of his own actions. It's wonderful. And really quick, a little bit of symbolism I saw in this movie that I really love is during the introduction speech from Jules, he throws his cigar and it literally burns the area around him down. He literally causes the destruction of everything he touches. And I think that's great foreshadowing and symbolism for the actual movie. Wonderful touch. I will say, however, although I enjoy this movie's story from beginning to end, I will admit I really do wish we got more detective aspects, more mysteries, more of soldier and spy working together. It seemed like just when they're about to form an actual connection and friendship, the bad shit happens and, that doesn't last, dude.
Where is Archibald? Archibald is dead. Everything this man has told you is a lie. He killed him. And the boy. That's not true. What is true to you? Or you, who ran away? I am the only sane man here.
Fun fact, people who think they're sane are actually sometimes the most craziest of them all. Just a little tidbit for you. It's also crazy how just a respawn machine messing up will destroy and distort everything around it. Like the area around the Mechaniker's slaughterhouse, dude, it is completely fucked beyond time and space. Like, wormholes, time loops, the building literally mismatching and creating entire different areas of reality. It's pretty fucked, dude. And to be honest, it is actually the best thing that could have happened for that place to burn to the ground. Hopefully stopping any more time loops. Though, in the upcoming prequel, we might just see that might not be the case. However, I do have some small nitpicks about the movie. And mainly it comes from Jeremy. I'm not a big fan of how they try portraying Scout and what they were trying to go with. I feel like too much stuff was clashing with each other, if that makes sense. For example, the fact that in some shots it's clear they're trying to make it look like he has buck teeth, the hat, trying to make him look like a kid, which, he is. He's in his 20s. He's a kid. But still, it's like, this is also a same version of Scout who was on death row for horrible crimes. So, like, I do feel like the message they were trying to show that he was just a pawn in a bigger game and a victim would have worked, but they didn't have to try so hard to make him look so innocent, I mean, remember, he's a mercenary. He was hired to kill people for money. And also the fact that his IQ is supposed to be below 50 throughout this, it just doesn't make sense to me why they would add that detail in. I know it's why he got, discharged from Blue. However, throughout the entirety of the movie, every time we see him, he seems to not have a single one of these symptoms. He can throw his baseball around, catch it with both hands easily, he's talking completely normal, he seems to be completely aware of his surroundings, and he's not schizophrenic because, he's right, people are watching him, he is hearing shit because, time itself is breaking. It would have been nice if we just saw some of these symptoms firsthand to see, okay, yes, this Scout is a bit unfortunately damaged, and that is unfortunate. You know what I mean? Just little something like that to show that, yeah, that actually did happen and it did fuck him up. However, another thing I love about the story is how everything is supposed to be a more grounded take to TF2, but Redmond and Blue Men are still just crazy old men who have spent an entire fortune fighting over shitty gravel.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. I thought I smelled something dead in here. Good gravel. I won. I outlived you, brother. I am the last man standing.
That is so hilarious to me. And it really does make sense that if you had two billionaires just going at it, throwing money at everything at the wall to try and one up the other, then yeah, people would take advantage of that and shit would go awry. You would have horrible experiments. You would have shady compounds. You would have horrible violations of humans' rights because they're not going to keep track of it. They don't care. All they care about is the end goal, and that is killing their brother. And it's just really funny how if you had this ridiculous concept, how quickly it will all go to shit in the real world. I loved that so much. And I'm not even going to try and talk about the time loops, the confusing, because I do firmly believe that you're supposed to understand that reality itself is morphing and breaking apart at the seam because the respawn machine is breaking. It's supposed to be something you get more on rewatch, more than your first few viewings, if that makes sense. All in all, I gotta give Emesis Blue's story 9 bonk boys out of 10. Yes, it is nearly perfect, and you can watch this without being a TF2 fan. However, I do firmly believe that if you are a TF2 fan, a lot of it will make sense you don't have to look into. I'm not gonna lie, dude. This movie looks amazing. Using the highlighted colors of red and blue for its lighting was a genius move and helps things stick out and give this movie its own style that I can't comprehend, dude. It's just amazing. It's good. And as someone who has just recently learned how to do decent lighting and the importance of it, I appreciate what they did in this movie, man. It just looks so good. Every scene looks like it could be for a poster. That's how amazing it is. And as for the soundtrack and sound design, mwah. Everything feels like it hits, it shoots, it's just great, dude. One of my favorites has got to be near the end at the funeral with Soldier's reading that card, and as he's reading the script, you just hear that verbing bass in your ears showing just how dense the situation is. I love it, dude. I can't get into too much on why it's all good, because I'm just not smart enough to say why. I will say this though, as someone who uses Source Filmmaker, the fact they did this pose by pose and just made all of this, oh my gosh, dude, these guys have talent. And it shows from their previous work too, Spy as Disguise. These are gifted animators who have tons of experience in the business. However, if you're starting out with animation, don't try and go over something massive like this. Know your limitations and try and learn the basics down, because I guarantee they have spent like probably a decade in Source Filmmaker to master these abilities and skills. Lastly, I just want to talk about Murder Inc. real quick. There isn't too much to go off of, but from the 2 teasers we did see, I am excited to see that Miss Pauling will play a role in it, and I can't wait to see how they'll handle her character. I wonder if they'll make her more cold than we're used to and show her more professional aspects, like how it's all just business to her. Maybe she'll betray some of the main characters. I don't know. I can't wait to see it though. I'm pumped, dude. This is going to be so epic. Can't wait for it to come out in 3 years. Lastly, guys, I just wanted to thank you for watching. And if you made it this far, please like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me, and thank you all so much. I am looking forward to making more content for you in the future. And hey, if you ever got any suggestions, hit me up with them. Private Boxy, out.